go, folks. It's time to kick it old school. Yeah.
Raj. First off, is there anything better than Herb and Raj on a Saturday night? And if you say yes, you're not our friends. Yes.
You could be hanging out with all your friends, getting ready to pregame, go out, do whatever you want to, but there's nothing better than watching Herb and Raj on a Saturday night.
Yeah. Well, I will say there's one thing. Dick Vitale did say on the broadcast tonight he was disappointed he didn't get his picture with Nick Saban. So I could say maybe that is the only person we would accept.
Yes.
Hey, I'm disappointed. I got to hang out with these guys. But other than that,
we're good.
We're good.
So, before we get into anything tonight,
Are you interrupting? This better be important if you're interrupting me.
Oh,
it's very important.
Yes. It's very important.
Oh, it's very important. Raj.
Yes,
it's very important.
Hey, kudos to Alabama with the 13-point victory. We're back where we need to be. Well, not necessarily, but it was a good start.
It was a good start. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. Victory.
Yep.
Roll time. Appreciate that. Okay. Got a couple of our favorite people in here. Lady Alpha, what's up? Roll Tide. Charmaine, Roll Tide. I know we're excited about that. I think Charmaine posted on there. It's like we can't lose with. I mean, I'm sorry, that was another person, but several people posting about can't lose with Dickie V in the building.
Yeah.
Not Charmaine was in on the game for sure. Michael, I'm here. Take one for me.
Appreciate you, Mike.
Yep. And Mike's off. I forget. But I know he's on the wrestling podcast, and he's going to kick me. He's going to kick me now because I can see your name right there of it. But saw him on several of the podcasts. One of the people that helped drive us to go watch the Royal Rumble. So appreciate it. And then of course, Big Mike.
I feel like we have to come up with a better intro for Big Mike, which is like
we do.
We got to figure out something.
The problem is Mike is a creative one, so if we asked for like an intro for Mike, he'd probably be the one that's a creator.
He would make it. He'd be like, "I want you to do this and say this right at this moment." Like, yes, okay, but no. Shout out to Big Mike. Big Mike was another integral part in Herb and I watching the Royal Rumble this year. Again, if you're a wrestling fan, or even if you're not a wrestling fan, just tune into the podcast. It will get you inspired. It will get you motivated. It will get you energetic about wrestling again. Again, Herb and I watched the Royal Rumble because of the podcast. They had a draft podcast on several weeks ago. It was dope. It was cool. The Royal Rumble was cool. It kind of made me feel like back when I was a kid and we used to watch wrestling all the time.
Yes. Shout out to Big Mike. It was a lot of fun. Look, Raj and I don't watch wrestling, and we watch his podcast every week, so that should tell you something.
Exactly.
Yep. And yeah, Mike, I could see it, I could like even see the design of it. Kicking Out at 2 is their podcast, so check that out as well. Like I said, good guy. And then he's crossed over with Mike on their podcast, so it's a lot of fun. So Mike, we're gonna introduce you all the time, man. You people will never know how much stuff you do behind the scenes for us, and how much help you do in getting this podcast going every week. So we feel like we gotta show you love every single time.
Definitely appreciate it,
and buy stuff for you too.
Oh yeah.
So, did I miss any? So this, I guess, is Daniel Petty signing in. I'm assuming under his wife.
When I first saw the name, when I first saw the name, I was like, did Petty really tell his wife to watch the show? Maybe he's busy or something.
And that's what he's saying also.
Then he just clarified that. He said this is under his wife's account. So Petty, we appreciate you for joining us, man.
Yeah, I'm almost at a perfect record of being called Rodg on every show that I've been on. So except maybe one. So that's where that's coming from.
Yeah.
So definitely appreciate you stopping in here. Yes, always great to be Kentucky. Always great to get the season soon.
2-0 against them right now. We beat them in Rupp Arena. Yep, season sweep. Beat them tonight, so that's always good.
Yep. Jermaine, feel free to post update. Raj is going to be following this one. He says until it goes sideways, he's going to be following.
As a LeBron fan, I always keep up with the Lakers. I try to watch as many games as I can. If there's ever a game that they're playing in and it's not competitive, if the Lakers are just getting steamrolled, mollywopped, whatever it may be,
which they aren't now. So they're up early.
I'll check up on it in a second. So Charmaine, keep us updated, please.
Yeah. There goes Smoke. We've reached out to the people. We've got the calendar open. So man, whenever you're ready to come by and check us out. So.
We appreciate you for joining us tonight. And yeah, like Herb said, we can't wait to have you on the show Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Yeah, Mike is definitely very, very humble. And no, Daniel is not an idiot. Don't ever believe that. So
yeah, he's not.
Love you too, man. And we're gonna get into this now. We're talking about roll tide, great win. Yep. Like I said, Lakers up. And then the other half, the Alpha Pool, Cat Pool.
Shout out to the entire Alpha Pool.
Yep, and much love to Smoke.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And like Raj said, can't wait to get you on the show, man. Whenever
of course.
Let us know. All right, Raj. 96-83.
Yeah.
For those of us who are watching on TV, I guess everybody, watching the score in the little box at the top, right? I could have the ESPN app, but nothing in the score made me want to jump over early. Like I'm already thinking, and I posted this, I'm gonna have to change clothes before the game even comes on TV.
Yes. I don't have ESPN News in the app or whatever, so I was watching, like you, Georgia Auburn game.
That's because only one of us is budgeted to have the app. Sorry. Yeah. That's how low our budget is right now, folks.
Our budget will increase once we get to where we need to be.
Yes.
But I saw the top right scorer is 20-9, and I call Herb. I'm like, I'm not sure if you're watching this, and then Herb clarified he wasn't watching either. But I'm like, how is it 20-9? Like, is there something wrong? We're supposed to be winning 20-9. So yes. I couldn't get a good gauge of what was going on. I can only check on stats, but. Excuse me, and I don't mean to jump the gun here, but it just seems like maybe we got off to another really, really lethargic start. Remember, I believe in both the Auburn and Missouri games, we started off losing 12-0.
Don't talk about the beginning of the Missouri
I'm sorry.
game.
I'm sorry.
That's too soon, Raj.
I was just trying to show some reference, but it seems like that just kind of carried over to this game, and I was like, how is it 20-9? And I immediately jumped the gun as a Bama fan and started thinking negatively and. Oh man, I can't believe we're gonna lose another game. I just jumped the gun a little too much, but yeah, I don't know why we're off to these sluggish starts. Not exactly sure what's going on, especially what happened the past few games. You'd think we got to come out here gunning. So, what were your thoughts when you saw the 20-9
This is what she said. No, I mean this is the perfect statement for it. It was tough, and like Raj thought, there was like 20-6 is when I was looking up there at the score. You have to bounce back, right? You're at home.
Yep.
Kentucky's a little shorthanded, which by the way, I have zero sympathy for anybody. Like we need to win. Have zero sympathy for anybody playing without anybody. I don't really care.
Yes.
So you could bring in the Arkansas School for the Deaf and Blind, and I hope we beat them by 30. So like I got no sympathy for anybody.
All the schools to reference. You mentioned the Arkansas School of the Deaf.
I mean, I might look it up to see if it's actual school. I don't care. I'm blocking shots, Rod. You got stories. I'd block some shots.
Yes.
Game. But it was just kind of. It's like you said. I'll say this. I didn't panic only because I was like, we have the offense to get back in this game, and I don't think Kentucky can keep it up. So there was no panic. But I was also like, we can't afford to do this against like Auburn, even like a team like Tennessee that suffocates you defensively. Florida's got the firepower. You can't continue to do this.
We can't. And I agree 1,000%. I'm trying to think of what I'm about to say, but I agree 1,000%. And we just really could not afford to lose this game tonight because we still have some tough games going ahead with this stretch that we have mentioned like past few weeks. This was just one game we just could not afford to drop.
Right.
Luckily, we came back and we started playing well in the second half, and things kind of turned around and we started hitting some big shots. But to your point, we just started off slow. Defense wasn't where it needed to be. I think Sears was giving up a few points here and there. We bounced back in the second half. This is
one thing that's changed. Sorry, Raj, because I was just reading this. One thing that has changed about how I watch games is sometimes I'm not watching the ball and I'm just watching some other stuff.
Right.
And this is what he's saying right here, especially the second part. There's times when he's not connected to his player. There's times when he's just kind of going under screens when you think he's going over. There's times, Raj, when I don't know that Bama's on the same page collectively. It's like, are we switching? Because they do too much of this. We're not switching, but I'm going to stand out here and wave at your man and then try and go catch where my man is.
Right.
It's like, are you either switching or you know what I mean? It just, as a whole, the communication is not great on defense. And then, like he says, Sears just takes plays off.
He does, and that just goes back to straight up fundamental basketball that you learn at an early age. You learn to talk, whether you're the top scorer or the least amount of or the least scorer on your team. When it comes to defense, you got to speak up. Hey, man up, switch coming, screen, etc. And it seems like sometimes we lack in that area. And to Smoke's point, I mentioned this maybe 2 weeks ago. I said, is Mark Sears, and I'm gonna ask you right now, do you think Mark Sears is a liability on defense?
Oh, definitely. Okay. I think size-wise, Rodg, but there's guys. I'll give you an example. James Harden, right? They say that he's a liability on defense, and you see there's times when he doesn't go after it, right? But when you get in the post is where he kind of shows out because he's strong there, right? But on the perimeter, when you're a perimeter player, he's a liability on defense for sure. But I also say another, like Jamal Crawford, who 6th man of the war here, forever, right? Yeah. He was never a great defender, but he put in a little effort. Where you have to kind of mitigate that is how are you performing on the offensive end to do it?
Exactly.
Okay, my guy scored 10, but I'll score 20. Yep. Sears, and to this right here, sometimes he's got it cooking on offense, and then sometimes his shot selection is crazy, and you're like, you just let your guy score, and then you just came up and took like a 40-foot shot on the other end.
Yes.
Like what are we doing?
That kind of goes back to my point that I've mentioned for a few years now. It's like I understand that with Nate Oates as coach, we're the 3-ball is the core of our offense, but sometimes you have to take the smart shot. Yeah. Alabama has a tendency to a lot of times to not take the smart or the best shot on. We just say, oh, wide open for 3, I'm gonna jack it up when it's 40, 50 feet out. If that's not the best shot, then don't take it. Yeah, and again, that's just my opinion. I'm not a head coach, but I think we could pass the ball around and kind of get a better shot selection.
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Let's say Alabama bows out in the Sweet 16, something like that, and Mark Sears has like a 7 or 8 turnover game.
Okay.
Does he go out the same way Milroe goes out, or do we hold like Milroe when he was good last year? Everybody loved him, right? And then at the end, we had bad games, and it's like some people wanted to run him out of town.
Okay.
Do you feel like, let's say Sears has a bad game, Sweet 16, and we go out, are we going to still hold that Final Four in esteem, or is it going to be like, all right, it's time, he needed to go?
I don't think he will be held in the same regards as Milroe, because I feel like we became more frustrated with watching Milroe week over week after some of the mistakes that he made. We become frustrated watching Sears at times, but then his offensive production kind of overcomes some of that. So I feel like he won't be held in the same regards as Milroe, not that low, but we'll look back and say, man, we probably could have made it at least to the Final Four this year. So,
I hope they don't, Charmaine, but I wish they wouldn't Milroe sometimes, and sometimes I was part of that. So we're gonna move past that then. This was in response to me saying I want to play the deaf and blind. And Mike doubled down on it with the cupcakes. Yeah. Man, I'm just telling you, look, we have enough tough games built into every schedule to where I want some easy games. So I don't care. Texas A&M was missing their best player when we played them. Guess what? I still like that victory.
That did not bother me at all. I said, hey, it's still another win for us.
Yep.
So we might see him again with Wade playing, but I mean, if he wasn't playing the first game, so be it. Just give me that W. I'll take it.
Mm. And I think sometimes this is what's going to hurt him at the next level, Petty. He's we're not really sure what he's doing. He's looking for the shot a little bit too much. He's a little out of control going to the hoop. So, Kentucky did not have a great defense, but at times he just wasn't taking advantage of it.
Yeah, and to you and Petty's point, when he does get to the NBA, like I don't know what type of shot selection he's going to get. The shot selection he's getting at Alabama, it's not going to be there in the NBA all the time. And then when he tries to drive to the hole, and try to use his body a little bit to kind of get some free space on these layups, it's not going to be like that in the NBA. It's not going to be that easy.
No.
And then jacking up these 40-foot threes. I mean, are you going to really do that in the NBA? You can't do that until you gain some sort of status in the NBA. Until you become a well-known, respected player in the league, then you can start shooting shots like that. You can't just do that once your rookie year in the league.
I on 1,000 agree with this, because that's what I did. Rodg will attest to that, man. I couldn't shoot where, like, if you gave me a 5-footer, I'm probably missing that thing by still 3 feet. but defense and rebounding and stuff like that's what I played.
I want to say this, and what Herb's saying is, I 1,000% agree with. When Herb was a hooper. Herb could hoop. Herb could seriously hoop, and I'm not lying about that. But Herb was more like a Herb Jones type of player. He was more focused on defense and rebounding and doing the dirty work, and he would still get you some points. Jump shot wasn't that great. Not trying to be rude.
Terrible. It was terrible.
It wasn't that great.
No, it was terrible.
But he would do all the dirty work, and he could still get you 9 and 10 points a game. So that's the type of hooper that Herb was. He would be at the rec on Sundays. Was it 2-3 o'clock? That's when all the real guys were out there. This was back when the rec had carpet. For those that know that, when the rec had the carpet, and you fought out in the rec then back in the capstone. I mean, that was a bloody knee, something like that. That was back in the day. But Herb, to Charmaine's point, Herb was a rec center legend. Herb could hoop. He could seriously hoop.
I'm telling you, because they would pick up 3 shooters. The guy would pick at teams, would pick 3 shooters and pick me, just so they had somebody play defense, rebound, and kick it out and do stuff like that. So, this is an interesting one. I mean, because they played Auburn and then going to Missouri. I don't know that they necessarily hit a wall, or honestly that they broke through it today. I got to see what happens the rest of the schedule. I felt like this was going to be the one we could get for sure, a good get back game. I think we talked about it on Going Hard in the Paint Thursday night, 7:30 on Bama Standard Network. Yeah. Because it was Kentucky, they were coming to your home. You already beat them at full strength at their place, and now they're shorthanded to come to your place. Yeah, and then you come home, and then you've got Mississippi State. I think we'll really see what they've hit. Tennessee, Auburn, and Florida are your last 3 games. That's where you kind of really see. Yep.
If we can go 2-1 out of those 3 games, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And then, it plays to seeding, but something that one of the guys on the broad, I want to say during the Auburn game, even talked about. Winning the SEC tournament does not do you any favors. Like playing that extra game or playing on Sunday before you fly out to wherever your destination is, your seed is probably going to be set before you get to that point.
Yep.
The SEC tournament's not going to be big. I'll have a lot more respect for whoever wins the regular season title in the SEC for sure. So.
Yeah, I just want Alabama to have a good showing in the SEC tournament. Whether we win or lose, whatever the case may be, that's fine. I just want us to have a good showing so we can get the number one. Or I know right now we're projected to be like 38-40% chance to have a number 1 seed in the NCAA in March Madness. So if we can get that seed, that's fine. If we end up a number 2, so be it. I mean, when it comes to March Madness, we've seen it years after years after years. It's you see upsets all the time. Whether you're 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever the case may be, you're going to see upsets anyway. So. I just want Alabama to have a good showing in the SEC tournament and going into March, be locked and loaded and ready.
Yep. And this is exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. This was kind of more of a get right game for you. Yeah. But you know, like
Kentucky's
Tennessee
not good defense. And Kentucky was missing what are they missing? Like 3 starters?
Yeah. And by the way, this is also 100% what I'm thinking too. Win a couple games, we'll be fine with it. So 1,000%. So let me see. I'll get to the Dickie V one in a minute. What's up, sharpshooters? How you doing? Appreciate you stopping by real quick. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yep. This is because I needed shooters around. So I don't care which do it as long as you can knock it down. Tremaine can knock it down.
Herb was one of the more unselfish players that you would see, but he gave 1,000% on every single play. He would. If you were on the opposing team, he would annoy the hell out of you. I remember playing against Herb sometimes that I hated when he guarded me. I'm like, dude, you're my brother. Like, can I get a shot out? No, Herb was just like, look, I'm not going to let you do anything. You're not going to embarrass me. No, he would clamp you down.
To my defense, Rodg beat me in horse one day and had posted it to Facebook before we even left the gym.
I did.
Yeah, there's a reason behind that madness sometimes. So
I did.
I'm a church set and shoot legend. So much. I don't know if Sadie's decided to log in on both, but folks, this is the Auburn expert.
Shout out to Sadie, huge Auburn fan. We're looking forward to having Sadie on the week before we play Auburn in Auburn. I forget that date, but we're looking to have her on. She knows her knowledge. She knows her basketball stuff. Huge Auburn fan. Shout out to Sadie. We appreciate you for joining us. Hi to Sadie. Tell Tommy we said hi too. Shout out to Tommy. Oh boy.
Was I the Dennis Rodman of the team? Without the colorful hair, and I didn't marry myself.
Like I said, without all the tattoos and hair, but Herb would also give you some buckets, but they were more on the layups and the dirty work and stuff like that. The jump shot was the jump shot, but it needed a little.
I jumped and I shot. That's the percentage was not great, but I jumped and I shot. Hey,
again, Herb would do the things that other players just wouldn't do. You had a lot of players on your team that were there just for offensive purposes. Herb would do all the defensive work, rebounding, get into arguments, be the face of your team. And without Herb, you weren't winning the game. So that's just being honest.
Yep. I was most impressed in this game by Mark Sears not having his first turnover until the second half.
Yes,
that
15
was
at half, 15 points, absolutely 0 turnovers. I was amazed at that, and I applauded him for that. So kudos to Mark Sears for that. Ended up with 30? I think he had 30 tonight, right? Yep, 30 points.
Sears has 65 in 2 games, so he's had great games. He tried to get us back in Missouri. So we only saw him because they wouldn't flip over from y'all's game to get to our game. That's the only reason why.
I did not see Shaunae Broom today, but I saw his stats. Had another good game. In all seriousness, we know that Johnny Broom is one of the better players in the country. He's probably going to be up for the Player of the Year award at the end of the season.
You're right about this, Charmaine.
So,
go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
Yeah. What did Charmaine say? Go back to Charmaine. I'm sorry.
Shout out to the carpet floors at the Rec.
That is true, man. Again, we moved to Tuscaloosa in 1994, and we went to the Rec with 94, 95, whatever, and I saw that carpet in there. I was like, man, you got to be careful. They didn't have breakaway rims either. They had those. What were the backboards made of? They weren't like glass backboards. They had like.
It was crazy.
You couldn't. You basically you weren't supposed to dunk on those.
Yeah. Oh, because if you dunked, you were bending that thing. There was no. Yeah.
Exactly.
There was. So.
Exactly.
No, this is an excellent point. And so I was watching when we did the first comeback and caught up to Kentucky. There was no threes involved in that comeback. It was all layups and free throws. No, there were no threes in that first little stretch there.
Yep. Mike makes a good point. This is something that I alluded to earlier. I was like, sometimes you have to take the best shot. The best shot might not always be a three-pointer. If you can go down so low and give it to File and let him drive and get a layup, as long as you're getting a bucket, that's fine. But these ridiculously long threes, if that's not the best shot, sometimes let's just move the ball around and see what we can do.
Yeah, I think sometimes we have the reputation as a good three-point shooting team, and we're not. We take a lot of threes, and we have a green light, but we're not a good three-point shooting team. I think we hover around like 30, 35% for the year. We're not a great team out there, and we end up taking a lot about them. So, where are we at? Yeah, when we do the brackets, Kentucky, I think, would be an easy pick to have an early out.
Yep.
In that one for sure. So the number winner was not carpet. That's what we had when we started was carpet. Yep. So it was very weird. You had to learn a lot, and like Rod said, there was a lot of rug burns and stuff in there.
Yep.
Holloway, and this is not even just this is not a shot at Auburn. Just Holloway's been one of my favorite players on the team this year. I feel like he's a steadying influence. We look at Sears obviously as the focal point of our team, but Holloway shoots a better percentage and has like half the turnovers of what he has. So he's just definitely a lot more steadying. And when they're on the court together, they do a good job of kind of playing off each other. You bring it up, no, you bring it, without worrying about it. So I like I like what he brings to the court for sure.
I do.
Said,
it worked out both off the bench. So shout out to Holloway. Good 3-point shooter too, and little undersized, but I mean he's a point guard or one or two, whatever you want to play him. But he played really, really well today. So kudos to him.
Yep. And can I mention that? So Kentucky's already shorthanded, right? And they've got their guy Owe who ends up fouling out. Did you watch his third and fourth foul in this game? Were terrible. The third one was on a 3-point shot from Sears.
I remember that.
And he's sitting there arguing, but you go back and look, and he hit the offhand. Yeah. The fourth one was we were trying to inbound the ball, and he just holding on to Youngblood.
When people argue for a foul, they're arguing because they got caught doing the foul.
Right.
That's what the main case is. They know they fouled him. They're just mad that they got caught. So they're trying to argue so the coach looks at him and say, "Man, you know what? Let's look at the film. Let's review it." No, he fouled him.
Yeah. And that's what it was. And when you're that important to the team, that's stuff that you can't do. So I didn't think that was a big
Agreed.
factor in the game. So if we still have an A-Day, I mean, with the rumblings and undercurrent, I wouldn't be surprised. But Rodg's out in Texas, so me and Mike will be going to A-Day.
Yeah, I live in Arlington, Texas. I will not be going to A-Day this year. I do plan on going sometime, maybe obviously not this year, but maybe the following year or something like that. I would love to bring my son and my daughter, whatever the case may be, in Sydney, of course. But
you have a son and a daughter?
Ha ha. That actually made me laugh.
Where have I been?
But no, I will not be
Nobody
there
tells
this
me
week. No, I won't be there. But hopefully Herb can go and we'll figure that out. To Herb's point, though, with all the people canceling their spring games, I don't know where Alabama's going to fall in that. But I hope they don't cancel, because the A-Day brings out a big turnout. You get people coming there to get autographs just to get an early viewing of the team, and autographs and signings, and the interaction between the fans and the teammates. And I don't want that to die out. So we'll see what Coach DeBoer decides to do in the next few weeks and stuff.
Practice. We talk about practice. Not even real. Hey, but it's in the spring. It's all we got. So
yeah.
I had the Missouri game up on one of the screens there. So
what's the score?
This is an interesting game because Arkansas really needs this game.
What do you think about Arkansas now? They're 15-11. It's Coach K's first year there. Is it just because he hasn't had time to recruit? Like, what does this do for what do you
I don't think it does anything, because Arkansas has kind of been on a downslope. He did bring a couple players with you.
He did.
The problem is now, Raj, because I mean, look at the top teams that you're seeing. How many of them are built by transfers?
Yep.
The leash is shorter than what it used to be. So people are going to expect Arkansas to be better quicker than you normally would think. But I wouldn't be worried about it. Diggy V made a good point. Talking about, I guess, their conference record, and they're not great, but they're still on the bubble or possibly in the tournament. When you're talking about having a negative record, that's just how strong the SEC is. But if I was another team, I probably would be a little bit upset at Kentucky being like firmly in the tournament and having a losing record in conference. But again, can you penalize them for what they have to play? But where are we right now? Arkansas's 4-9 in the conference, though.
They're 15-11. I know that, and 4-9 in the
4-9 in the conference, like.
So
that's hard to reward with a bid to me.
This is part B to that. The first question, as far as what you think about Coach Cal, but part B is like, do you think he can regain his Kentucky status at Arkansas? I guess. Do you think he'll be able?
So I think he'll be able to recruit, and I think with the transfer portal you can get there in.
Yeah.
I'm wondering about this. Has it just passed him by as far as what's kind of going on?
Right.
And like I said, you're not going to get, 3, 4, 5 years. We're going to look at this year. Let's say they somehow miss the tournament, and then next year, people are going to be ready to run him out. They were already tired of him at the end in Kentucky. So this is – I still feel like he has as long, and I think it's just going to get tougher. I mean, you look at where people are gravitating in the SEC right now, and it's just not Arkansas.
I feel like at Kentucky – he didn't quite reach the full. He won the national championship in 2012. I get that, but I feel like Kentucky is a huge straight for basketball, and I feel like the fans there probably thought he should have won more national championships, and he realized he never did, especially with the talent he did. He never did, and he was never going to get back to that stage again. So maybe he felt like he just exhausted his stay there, and he said, "What can I do? I still want to coach." So then the Arkansas position was there, so he moved over there, took that. But it's going to take time for him to build up a team. It's going to take time for him to recruit. And again, to your point, do players want to go to Arkansas? I mean, again,
Raj, nobody wants to go to Arkansas.
Look at SEC basketball. You got Auburn, Florida, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Bama.
People in Arkansas don't want to go to Arkansas. Like, if there's a chance to escape, you're going to say. No offense to any Arkansas people that may be watching. If any Arkansas people are offended, just remember, my name's Herb. That's Rod. I'm Rodg, and that's Herb over there. So, but don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it. Like I said, he hasn't caught up to that. It's tougher for the older coaches. That's why in football you're seeing a lot of the older coaches leave the sport, is because nobody wants to put up with this anymore. So
that's true.
And I do think a lot more people are going to go to that. So, like I said, if A-Day game is regular, we'll be there. If it's not, we won't.
That's a good point that Petty made. I wouldn't even be surprised if, what if they do like a flag football type of thing or something like that. I mean, it'll definitely be different, be safer on the players, and then you're not going to really execute too many plays when you're playing flag football anyway. Just like we're just out here for fun. So
I'm in Birmingham. I don't know that I would drive to go see it though.
I know. I just don't want them to cancel the experience of a day. Right. I would hate for them to do that. So
it was a perfect buzzsaw. Coming off a loss, they were at home. They get up for a top 25 team. I mean, they're still beating Arkansas. It's tougher on the road. I guess they're up 6 points now with a couple minutes gone into the half. But for us, no. I mean, you have a chance to knock off a top 5 team. Yeah. That's why they played that well. So I see that for sure. Charmaine says they're up. Lakers still up in the second quarter. Sharpshooters, man, shoot us a DM.
We're out there on Twitter. We would love to be on there, man.
Yeah,
let us know. Hit us up.
And I had a couple ones that I checked from earlier. So, yeah. Phylon is not as good a shooter. I think that's why sometimes that makes
he's a better driver.
But when they mix it up with him and Sears, I definitely.
That's why I like Phylon in the game is because when we're not hitting the threes, Phylon can say, "Hey, I'll take him off the dribble and I can get you a layup."
Yep. Yeah. And that's why he is actually the highest rated Bama player draft wise. So is Phylon.
You mean in history or just?
No. I'm saying for the telling the team right now. No, Brandon Miller went second. Rodg, like what are you talking about?
I know. That's why I had to stop you. I was like, hold on.
He said in history. No, we're live.
My bad.
Cut the tape, guys. Cut the tape. No, no.
I apologize.
On the current team. Yes.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting one, right? There's a reason why Sears came back. Because his draft stock was not that high. Right. He's a little bit of an undersized guard. My Jalen Brunson was who I always try to use as a comp. It was a lazy comp. They're both smaller guards who are left-handed, right? Jalen Brunson to me is a much better scorer than Sears. Sears is kind of either 3 points or all the way to the rim, and I think Brunson is a little bit better in the mid-range. I think that's it. I think that's what's going to plague Sears is the lack of defense, and he needs to find some if the 3 pointers aren't shooting and he can't get to the hole, can he do some other stuff to affect?
I agree.
If Brunson isn't hitting the 3 and he doesn't get to the hole, he's going to find some other ways to score. I think that's what's going to hurt him.
I agree with you 1,000%. Couldn't agree anymore. I think he's going to be a liability on defense, and his offense is limited to certain things, and I just don't know if it's going to translate well to the NBA. So.
Yep.
Again, but by us saying that we're not saying he's not going to have a successful career, nothing like that. We're being honest as Alabama fans, and we hope for the best, but we'll see.
Yep. I think these are the problems. Cal's definitely made his money already, and Arkansas. And back in the day, it was kind of like a blue blood, but now it's that's not enough to sell you. So, Herb, what are you drinking? Water.
Water. It's always water.
It's always water.
Herb. It's always water. Yeah, it's always water. Yeah.
Hey, it's always water. Roll Tide.
Yep.
I don't just because I'm so excited about the game. Yeah. I get what they're doing and how they're going to this, and I mean what Texas and Ohio State have also switched off it.
And USC, right? I think USC back.
USC did also. Yep. So I get it, but it's I don't want to drive to go see that, I guess is what it is. I don't watch the NFL Pro Bowl, and I don't know that I'd flip over for this. And if you're the networks, what do? Do you just, instead of showing the Alabama spring game, you show whoever's actually playing, right?
This is the thing. I would watch
the by the way, real quick, Rodg, only in an Alabama basketball podcast could you be talking about the football spring game. Talk about
if they did a flag football game, I would watch the first year just to see the format, but then the next year I'd be I don't know if I want to watch it again. But then part of me is still going to watch anyway because I'm craving to watch more college football. That's the thing.
Let me see. Spring game is essential. Yep. So there's a clip out there about why Sark is talking about why he's getting rid of his that I encourage people to see and see if you agree or disagree because it would go kind of directly against that. He talks about how short spring is and how many practice they have, and he'd rather have another practice than that. So that's I'd just be interested, if anybody listen to that, and if you disagree, because I always agreed with that. I thought the spring game was essential, but coaches going away from it makes you think, okay, maybe it's not. What are these people thinking? So, by the way, we had planned on talking about this a little bit on Tuesday, and depending on which guest comes by, you might hear more of this on Tuesday night.
Yep.
So. Yep. I get, like I said, it's it's one of those like I like seeing the game at the end. You know what I mean? So I don't know that I would drive over to see it. If I lived in Tuscaloosa and it was just a free day and I went over, yeah. But to plan my day around it to go see that, I just don't know that I can.
No, I understand. I completely understand that.
And no, there's like 3 teams that play defense, and it's not even every play. I think Houston. I think the Thunder.
That's just the way of the NBA nowadays. I mean, that's just how it has been for several years.
Did Sadie say I'm lying about the water? It's right here. I mean, it's not open. Wait, hold on.
I mean, Sadie says you're lying. I went to Specs today. I had a nice pickup today at Specs. I did good, did pretty good today. So I'm happy with my
some good H2O, baby.
Yes.
Some good H2O. So.
Can't go wrong with water.
Yep. And that's the thing. I just don't think people are going to travel to watch a flag football game. You know?
Yeah.
And we can't talk bad about it for the Pro Bowl purposes and then say it's okay for Alabama. So yeah. And they never do. Like ours was as bland as they can be, but it's still like that little bit of excitement getting on there. They still do the walk of champions, and it looks like they're playing.
It's so like a tease.
Look, when you're in spring,
yeah.
And so we don't. Never mind. I was about to start singing. Nobody wants it. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I get why they're doing it. I get all the reasons. I'm speaking strictly as a fan.
Yeah,
I want to see a fake game. I'd rather see a fake game than anything else. So yeah, lie to me, show me out, whatever, that's fine. But I also wonder how it plays into that last transfer portal period, because a lot of us would watch the spring game and then people would transfer afterwards, and we'd see how that translated to. So that's interesting to me. So. All right, let's bring it back to the game. So, encouraged by this one, Rodg. Like I said, Sears had a good effort. I didn't see how many turnovers, and I think somebody will probably beat me to it. But how many he ended up with before?
With Sears? I think he ended up with
only 2 turnovers.
Let me double check. I want to say 2.
Yep, 2 turnovers. They had 4 against Missouri. So
30 points, 2 turnovers, 8 for 17, and hit 3 threes. So I'm encouraged by that. I think just overall production-wise, it's excellent on Sears' behalf. I just wanted to continue.
Right.
Excuse me. Just when it comes to just turnovers, it just comes down to making the right plays and being a smart player, and not trying to force passes. We have a tendency to sometimes try to force passes into little holes that just aren't there. So, to your point, to your question, yeah, I'm encouraged by this. We play Mississippi State next. I think that should be a dub for us, depending on how we play. But I'm more focused on how we start that game.
Right.
We need to come out firing. We don't need to get into some sort of bad lead, because that's just not a good showing, especially going into March.
Right. And I understand Mississippi State is the team that you feel like you should beat, but we felt like that about Ole Miss, and then they came in and took our lunch money in our own place. So
exactly.
And like we already mentioned, you've got to go to Tennessee next. You've got a home game against Florida. You got to go to Auburn. This is your last gimme left.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
You got to come out strong. Look, Sadie, we've watched this basketball team and our football team enough to know we can't. I feel like. I guess you said I think y'all win. Dude, we can't.
When Sadie jumped in the comments, she was like this: "I think y'all win Tuesday."
Yeah, and so I guess Sadie needs to hit us up and tell us when she's actually
she could be on the show.
Yeah. So, and Charmaine said, "Yeah, fan and mom a football player." It's always funny how it kind of spills over. So
yeah.
Rodg, I think the last thing we wanted to do, I guess, is kind of look around the SEC real quick. Did you watch any of the other games today? How about that?
Honestly, I did not. We were out today, so I did not watch too many of the games. I kept up with the Georgia-Auburn game on the phone. There was a point there where I thought Georgia was actually going to come back and win, but Auburn kind of kept pushing them away. So not surprised that Auburn beat them. Didn't keep up with too many of the other games. No, I did not.
Yeah. SEC-wise, I was following the Florida and LSU game, and Florida kind of sleptwalked through the end of the first half and then just kind of ran away with it. As far as implications-wise, I mean, Florida is still running towards a number 1 seed, so I think they'll be fine. Like I said, Auburn handled Georgia. Georgia had a little fight in them, but Auburn handled that one. They're still running through a number 1 seed. Vanderbilt picks up a big win against Ole Miss at home. So I was watching kind of into that one. I thought Ole Miss when they finally stormed back to take it, so...
Tennessee had a good, to Charmaine's point, they had a big win at A&M. So, and Wade Taylor was playing, so that was good for them.
Yep. My mom might be watching, so we can't put her thing, but she said, yeah, Auburn is just too consistent right now. Yeah, so that's the kind of scariest thing for you. So.
And defensively, they're clamping teams down. You know, defense wins championships. Hopefully, Auburn doesn't win the championship, obviously, but Auburn looks good. I hate to admit it, but they look really, really good this year.
Yeah, they're clamping them down like my wife when I get out of line. No, okay, we'll just I blame it on the water, Rodg. I blame it on the water.
Gotcha.
So, well, I guess that's it. Do you have any other points? Any other comments? Anybody else?
No, man. I'm glad we're back in. Glad we're back in the win column. Hopefully, we win. You know, this Mississippi State game. And I hope we finish the last 3 game stretch with 2-1. Those are my hopes. Those are going to be 3 really, really, really tough games. But no, Mark Sears played well today. Holloway played well coming off the bench. We look good overall. Just hoping we can continue this going into March.
Yeah, Phylon starting again makes me wonder. Like, is he fully back healthy? Is that gonna?
He only had 7 points tonight, though. But I know
I think he's still kind of working himself in. I think that's kind of the problem. So, and sorry, while we're doing that, I just kind of wanted to check out.
Okay.
Real quick, and like you said, Tennessee had a big. Texas A&M is probably one of the more underrated or like under the radar teams, but Tennessee went there and had a big win. So. That game is going to be tough. I mean, obviously they play better defense than we do. Everybody plays better defense than we do. Yeah. But I wanted to grab the bubble watch for the SEC real quick.
So Sadie says that Auburn's going to be 1-3 over their next 4. Wow. I didn't know she was going to predict that.
Yeah. I think she might be talking about us. So yeah. Go home, Herb. I'm home. What are you? I'm in my house, so I don't know what just happened. Neither did we half the time. So neither did we. So Sadie, if Alabama goes 1-3 over the next 4, then we have to take back your invite to the show.
Yeah, we're not letting you on the show. I don't want to deal with it.
We can't do that. So sorry. Nobody wants to have a show where we're getting laughed at for like a whole hour. So.
Yeah.
Who is Texas has work to do. Oklahoma. I didn't know Oklahoma was still in the bubble. I thought they were pretty much done.
I thought they were out.
Yeah. Vanderbilt has work to do, and Arkansas still has a chance. So,
all right.
And then like I said, Texas losing big tonight. So let's see. So, yeah, Sadie, sorry, but no, we don't want to show with an Auburn person who gets to laugh at us for a whole hour.
I don't. I
go 1-3. So that's it. All right, Rodg, appreciate it. Commenters, appreciate it. Would like to give a shout out to Water for keeping me alive and keeping us going. We will be back.
And we released my top 5 muscle hamsters in the history of Alabama football this morning. Please check out that video and check out all the other videos that you haven't checked out on our YouTube channel, Herb and Rodg Podcast. Please like them, comment, subscribe. Give us some feedback. If you like the videos, let us know. If you don't, if you want to see different stuff, just we're always willing to take some feedback and constructive criticism, whatever the case may be. So we're just
all we ask is that if you like them, post about it. If you don't like it, send us a message. Just let us know. Hey guys, you guys suck. That's fine. Okay. We can handle that. So appreciate that.
Yep.
And appreciate the Bama Standard Network, man. Another one of those that have been vocal and behind the scenes as helping us out and support us.
Yeah, to Her's point, huge shout out to the Bama Standard Network. We've been, connecting with those guys over the past few months. They've had our back. I think I've had a little too much water here, but they've had our back and good guys. And if you're not watching any of the episodes or shows on the Bama Standard, please follow their YouTube channel as well. Like, comment, subscribe, anything. Watch their videos. Deep into Alabama football. They give some really, really good analysis. Great team there. Shout out to the Bama Standard.
Yep. I will not be taking this link out because I need to make some extra money. So that link will be staying in the bio.
What is your OnlyFans page about? Or like, what is it?
It shows me taking off my socks, Rodg. Oh.
Okay, it's time to go.
That's what I do. Might as well be an only socks show. It's like, ooh.
Gosh.
Sucks. I know you like it. And we're gonna follow up with appreciate that, Mike. Yes, blaming on the water. Let's get loose.
Yeah.
Blaming on the H2O. Blaming on the what water. And
bye.
Roll Tide, everybody.
Roll Tide,
y'all have a good night.